Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson, Watauga County Arts Council, and I'm back again to help you find out about some cool opportunities to see some fun productions. One is coming up really soon. I have with me Derek Gagne. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
Close enough, okay. And Jamie Asher. We were talking about the fact that they both have unusual names that are spelled a little bit differently, and then the production that they're talking about also has a kind of a different spelling. It's kind of a sophisticated spelling.
It is sophisticated.
Yeah.
It's a British, it's a Shakespeare romantic comedy called Love's Labour's Lost. And there's two apostrophes in that, and one is because it's love,
right,
possessive, but then labours is a contraction. Love's labours is lost. And it's sort of a romantic comedy with a twist at the end, so you don't get your typical payoff at the end, although there is a fun payoff.
So it's a comedy.
It is a comedy. It's a very funny comedy with a lot of romance in it and a lot of satire. Makes fun of teachers, pupils, scholars, lovers.
Give me a bigger synopsis of the plot.
Yeah, bigger synopsis. Okay, so it's set in Navarre, which is now a province of Spain, but it's between Spain and France, and it was like a Monaco of its day, and it's kind of sophisticated. We put it in modern day. And the King of Navarre, who's college age, and the neat thing is he has 3 college age friends who he hangs out with, and they decide to be famous, and their get famous quick is they're going to study for 3 years. And they never mention what, which is great.
True,
They never mention what, but they're going to study, and in that time, and it sounds like my freshman year of college, they're going to see no women and only eat 1 meal a day. Okay,
right.
That is that was years ago. No women especially, and they do this by choice, and then hijinks ensue because the Princess of France, who Jamie is playing, and here 3 beautiful college-age ladies that accompany her, show up on business, and they're supposed to talk to the prince. And so the prince's sidekick, Baron, says, well, you know, you got to break your oath already. So they try to figure out how to do this, keep their pledge to study for 3 years, not talk to women, but talk to women. Hijinks ensue.
Yes.
And then you throw in the middle of this a bunch of country bumpkins, the parish priest, that's always good for a laugh, and the school teacher, and then a constable who's on the first day of his job. And you know, all this kind of
sounds like a lot of fun bumbling.
Yeah, it is. And it's bumbling.
A lot of bumbling.
And you know, of course, and it's no secret that all the guys, one by one, decide they're going to write their prospective girlfriend a letter, and they all catch each other. And then so to kind of get around that, they decide to talk to them in disguise. I won't give away the disguise, but it's outrageous.
Absolutely.
And of course, the women see through it right away. And yeah, so then it has the neat thing about this production. It's in modern dress, so it's more accessible. Beautiful costumes. You know, and stuff like I said, well, what if Navarre was on the French Riviera? What would it look like? And so there's linen, 3-piece suits, and gorgeous dresses and things like that. But also. Daniel Buchan, who's a junior composition major, has written original music to go with the songs that are in the script. There's songs in the script, but the music has been lost over the ages. So we've recreated it with a sort of a jazzy feel. And then there's a mariachi number that the Spanish characters sing. Oh,
that one's great.
In the middle of the
That's great. It's amazing.
So you got to go just for the music.
It's worth it for that. There's a lot going on in it, and it's running. I edited it, so it's running about 2 hours, which is a nice evening. You know.
So it would have been what if you had not edited it?
Days.
It is a very long show.
Well, it's a wordy. It was written for someone's wedding, so if you can imagine, let's watch a play for 3 hours. That makes fun of marriage. It must have been a rip snorter of a reception. I guess they didn't have buffets then, you know. But we did cut out some of the stuff that's not as accessible. Because you're talking about a play written in 1598 for a specific group.
So if it's not going to make sense to today's audience, you took that out.
But we've made the majority of it make sense, so I think it's going to be very funny.
That's cool. That's cool. Now you're playing the princess?
Princess of France. That's me. Yeah.
Wow, big shot here with us today.
It doesn't have a name in the
No,
script.
actually, they never name my character. So when people ask who I am and I say Princess of France, they're like, "Oh, so you're like, you know, in the background. You don't really have
Probably
a big role."
Mildred or something.
Yeah.
Bibbleman.
Well, now what is it like to be in this kind of a production?
I have never done any kind of Shakespeare before, so this language has gotten quite. It's a bit difficult to get used to.
So you're using the Shakespearean.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh yes. Modern dress, but we're still speaking, you know, thys and these and all of those.
Right.
It took us all a while to try to grasp what was actually going on. And Derek had us all sit down, talk about it, what we thought was going on, what was actually going on. And of course, there's Shakespearean-like insults and jokes that we don't get nowadays. So that took a little bit of figuring out to really see what was happening.
You get a lot of historical background there.
Yes, we do. We do.
That's one thing I've really observed over the years that I've been working with you guys, helping you promote your productions, is how much outside knowledge, besides just how to do theater, that you have to have or that you gain in the process.
Year and a half of research before we even cast it to kind of get things. And of course, after 30 years, you kind of get to know some of the words and things, but I was still surprised. I mean,
Interesting.
there's the word glosses. We lay these glosses by in court. What is a gloss?
And
So we had to
no
look that
dictionary
up.
has that easily, does
Oh, yeah,
it?
like the 7th archaic definition. And
Yeah.
Google was my best
So
friend.
what is it?
Sort of a custom or pointless talk. Cut the BS. Let's figure out how to, and there's
Yeah.
one character who's right to the point.
And that's what's glosses.
Yeah. Can we cut this and go right to the point here? How are we going to win these women?
Now, do you find yourself using the words like that in your own day-to-day language?
Yeah.
And then nobody knows what you're
Well,
talking
I've always
about.
thrown it in, but when you leave a party and you go farewell, people they don't invite you back.
Or they wonder about you.
Yes.
Yeah, they do. My poor wife is tortured.
Now, your role with this whole situation is you're directing?
I'm the director, sort of the de facto music director. I always coach voice, diction, sometimes dialects for our productions, and head cheerleader.
Ah, that's a new role. I haven't seen that on a program before.
Yeah. Well, part of this is it's educational, and training actors is my absolute favorite thing to do. So when they have a breakthrough in rehearsal, and Jamie's seen this, I'll jump it down and and like a football coach. But really the point of it too is if you think about it. 2 out of 10 may go on and do this as a career,
That's
but
correct.
the other 8, have public speaking or communication skills that they develop through this that and are just more fun to talk to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, Jamie, you're a what year?
I'm a freshman.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal to get a lead role as a freshman.
I was pretty surprised, but
You must have some real talent here.
Yes.
So, do you have long-term goals yet? Have you formulated what you're planning to do?
Well, I actually am a history major at the moment, and I think I'm going to stick with that for as long as I can. It's fascinating to me, and acting's always been sort of just a fun side thing for me to do. I don't think I have quite the discipline it takes to take it as a major or
Right.
perhaps even going on into something in it. But no, I'm grateful for any opportunity I can get to do it.
Well, do you have experience in high school and all
Oh,
that?
yes. Oh, yes. The last show I was in was Les Mis.
Oh,
So that was a bit of a downer, but it was great. It was a fun time.
that's great. Well, congratulations on getting such an important role so early.
Thank you.
That's very, very impressive. So, how many students are involved in this whole production?
Well, 19 cast members, a student composer, so I guess that makes 20, 4 a stage manager, 4 assistant stage managers who will be the crew
Right.
running it, a number of other, light board operators, sound board operators. So it takes a good chunk of our department to do this.
Right.
And, most of the students are, of course, learning, like, they hope to run sound or lights or stage manage professionally. So that kind of...
That's
is
great.
the point
Good
of it,
practical
yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I think a lot of folks outside of the theater department or that kind of thing tend to think of theater majors as the actors. And that's
right.
about it.
And what you don't see is the 20 or so people working in the costume shop that are theater majors that are building the costumes.
There's a whole
And they
other
say
side.
build,
Right.
instead of sew. Or, the people working in the scenic shop.
Right.
The people helping the designers, things like that. So really, they say it takes a village, and it takes most of the department.
So what you see on stage is only a small segment.
It's the tip of the iceberg of what.
Yes.
Now, how does a production like this get chosen?
Yeah, we have a committee made up of professors and students who get together as soon as the season's picked, the new committee comes together, and students and professors submit plays, and based on things like, for instance, we hadn't done a Shakespeare in 4 years, or gee, we're really due for a 17th century play, things like that, or a comedy.
So there's some other reasons.
There's guidelines, and it's a long process. And of course, once the season is kind of etched out, what might be taking into factor how many actors can be in each show, and who is up for student design and things like that. It's submitted to the faculty. We hem and haw and vote on it. And
Now, do you do readings?
we don't so much because the whole committee is expected to read 45, 50 plays that are submitted.
What fun.
Yeah. We did do readings. This year we opened with Promises, which was written by my colleague Joel Williams, and we did several readings of that, stage readings of it before it was developed into the final. But as far as, for instance, doing a reading of Shakespeare, they kind of just trust me. It's like, is this one good? Yeah. So.
I was wondering because one of my friends is a reader she and her husband read for Ensemble Stage.
Yeah, which I do as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And their process is a little different in that they're trying to find new plays.
Right.
And they're, because of the size of their theater and what they're trying to accomplish, 6 to 8 actors at most. I have the luxury of, when I'm not working with them, is, I could 16, 18 people.
Right.
Our goal is to get as many people on stage as possible.
Right. Now, this will be at Valborg, right?
On Valborg Theater,
Right.
we open March 19th, which is a Wednesday at 7:30, runs through Saturday at 7:30, and that Sunday, which is the 23rd at 2.
Okay. And what are tickets and how do they get them?
15 and 18, I believe. Well, here's my ticket prices. The box office number 262-3063, or they can go on the web, theater.appstate.edu.
Can you buy your tickets online?
You can.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Now, you're gonna, how many shows is that? 6, 5?
5.
5 shows. So that's a
shows.
lot.
Yeah,
You know.
it's the most I've ever done for a show.
Yeah, and we're doing a student matinee on the 19th before we open. It's a little preview.
Kind of like a dress rehearsal type thing? Or?
Well, actually, there'll be people there, so I guess technically it's not a rehearsal, but it's a pre-opening, a preview for area high school students, and we're really excited about that.
That's really cool.
We're able to host those through a grant from Mass General Store.
That's great. Well, they're
Yeah.
great supporters of the
Yeah,
arts,
and-
especially.
Yeah, they are, and these guys are glad to get out of classes for the day.
Oh yes. We have written excuses that I'm just going to hand into my teacher and be like, I won't be here. Sorry.
Write the note for 9 a.m.
Yeah.
No, I can't do
We're
that.
trying so hard to get him to move it earlier and earlier, but 11 o'clock was the cutoff. So.
Yeah. Well, they got to consider school lunches and buses and all those things. So,
Right.
That's all a factor.
But we're excited to have them because I think that, I kind of aimed this for college-age, high school audience, and I think that if we're successful in getting people excited about Shakespeare and
Right.
plays in general.
Well, and I was just thinking that unless these are students that are fairly comfortable with Shakespeare, they may not even understand it all. And are you going to give them something to help them
Yeah, we're going to talk
interpret?
with them. The thing is, we geared the show. Modern dress really helps,
A lot.
and the body language helps tell the story as well.
Right.
But because they're college age
Yes.
characters, the appeal to me for this is that we're able to do things. And at this point, everybody, hopefully by high school, has found their first love or knows what it's like to pursue someone they're interested in, and brutally put your foot in your mouth.
It doesn't sound Shakespearean, honestly.
Yeah.
Really?
It's the weirdest thing. I can be saying the most convoluted line with the weirdest words that I've ever heard
Right,
in the whole world, but it comes off sounding like I'm
That's
a modern
great.
18-year-old kid.
It goes to show, it's kind of like those things you see on Facebook where that they change all the letters in the middle of the word, but the first and the last letter are the same, so you still
So you still
understand
get
it.
it. Yeah.
You know, it's
Yes.
kind of the same concept. you know.
Right.
Now, was it hard to memorize things like that?
Oh boy. It took a little longer than it normally takes me
Yeah.
to memorize something. But I was just telling Derek out there, I'm surprised, like the words just fly out of your mouth. They just get ingrained
That's
in your
great.
mind, and it sounds like you're saying any other line.
I think a large part of that has to do with what you said about really getting the story in your head and understanding the concept behind it. You know, so I know this is a great experience for you.
Yes, it's
So
been amazing.
All your family going to come and see
Oh
it?
yes, they've already bought their tickets online. I actually come from Georgia.
Oh my goodness.
So they're doing the whole like, we'll drive 6 hours to see you. So
Well, for this they should.
yes,
Yeah.
they're very excited. They're very proud.
That's wonderful. Well, I hope that you have full houses every night. So, you know.
Me
Great.
too.
Which at Valborg that's not a really huge theater, so that's not that impossible to achieve, you know. So,
No, we've done it a couple times.
yeah, just a couple.
Quite a few. Don't want to brag.
Well, I do hope that you will make this something that you're going to look forward to going and seeing and enjoying in person. I think it sounds like it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch. And so I hope that it will be something that you'll have a lot of folks that will come out and see it. And again, the dates begin on the
March 19th through the 23rd, 7:30, and then 2 o'clock on the 23rd.
Okay, so make your plans now. Mark your calendar. You don't want to miss this. Check our website, watauga-arts.org, for links to this and a whole lot more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.